Welcome to episode 2 of our solo Runebearer series. If you recall, last episode, our protagonists, Martin and Rorik, were traveling the Great North Road from Boston to Salem, and they had stopped somewhere in the Falaran barony here, as you know, and pretty much stopped here at this little juncture at a place called Sendel's Rest. And Sendel's Rest is, let's see, can I do this? Sendel's Rest. It's probably a little too big, but you know, whatever. Oh, that's tiny. Okay. There's Sendel's Rest. And Sendel's Rest is a roadside inn. Can you actually see that? I don't know. Maybe we'll see. We'll see on the video. If you can't, you know where I'm at. I'm right here, right there. This highlighted area right there. Sendel's Rest, and that is where they have decided to hang out this evening. There was a matron from the Temple of Estra and 7 aspirants there, a nobleman, and an entourage of 2 bodyguards, and a small family of grunge who were going to sleep in the stable, but were getting their scraps for dinner that the innkeeper reluctantly and grumpily sold them, probably. That miser. I actually upped their room and board to 5 pennies for both Rorik and Martin because they probably drank a little bit. And it was a little over. Hot meals are 6.6, so that's 1.2, 3.2 plus beers, and so that's probably 5 pennies for both. So what they noticed, of course, is that someone came out and grabbed the matron, and she sent a couple aspirants out to gather medical supplies, as it turns out. And then they went into the kitchen, and Martin went in and followed them, having noticed this. And they found one of the serving boys injured. His hand and his arm was chewed up pretty badly. And Martin did indeed have the most physician training, and so he took the lead in patching the boy up as best he could. And what they found out was, of course, that the inn seems to have a rat problem, a giant rat problem, as inns always do at first at the beginning of a fantasy campaign. so that's where we're at. He stitched him up. The innkeeper offered 35 silver pennies to both Martin and Rorik to exterminate the rats. There you go. And that's where we're going to then start this session. Now, I have my characters here. As you can see, Martin there, and Rorik is right there. And they are... my game notes. Oops. Be nice. There we go. So a couple things. And oh yeah, I'm sorry. And so welcome to chapter 2, session 2, and I call this one Basement Dwellers. I gotta, it's gonna take me a little while to get into the swing, but that could have been a way better caption reveal. but there you are, Basement Dweller, session 2. So welcome. So a couple things to note. So in Runebearer, you get a check every session, effectively every night, in a skill if you use it successfully, and then you get a free check that you can then spend anywhere. I don't know that I'm comfortable calling each one of the episodes a session. Maybe I am. It's not. It's not like it's. Oh my god! It's going to be so amazing. They're not going to raise up astronomically fast doing that. But typically, like a session when we play at the table is 4 hours, and these sessions are going to last an hour, maybe two at most. And so I feel a little bit like these guys are going to go up a little faster than a normal character if indeed we did that. So I think I'm going to wait on it and pretty much just make the assumption that that I'll give them maybe a couple at the end of the adventure proper, which is not that long. It's very short, actually. So we're going to hold off on giving them any checks in terms of free experience to spend and so on. We're going to pretend this is a continuation of the last game session. So I think Martin and Rorik will prepare themselves briefly, and that preparation will largely mean ditching their stuff in their rooms. That's going to lower both their weights. I'm not going to calculate it, but that'll probably lower their weights down so that Martin's fatigue number is probably only 3. Just guessing, because he's going to ditch the field kit, for instance. That immediately takes him down to 14.4. If he can get under 9.5 kilograms, I think he has nothing. Can he get under 9.5? I don't know. Maybe he doesn't gonna bring the bedroll and the backpack. Like all that stuff's gonna go. Probably just the alchemy satchel and his potions. Let's say that he goes down to 4 and he'll keep the med kit. We're not gonna mark it as 4. I'll just try to remember. I know that's bad. So I'm gonna put that they. So here's the continuation of our notes. There you go. So session 2. I'm going to say that Martin, that they dump gear. They dump some gear. And Martin's fatigue number is 4. And I don't know that Rorik's fatigue number actually goes down. I think Rorik is going to be still a 3. Because I think his fatigue is mostly armor. And he probably doesn't need like the traps kit, for instance, really, but he'll keep the rope and the torch and so on. Not the bedroll, but again, let's just assume that number is going to be about the same as it is. His number is reasonably low anyway. So I think they, like I said, drop off some crap. And then they're going to head down to the basement. Rorik in front with a torch. Actually, probably the innkeeper tells him he won't need a torch because there's going to be light down there. So, and there you go. That's my crappy AI rendition of what the basement might look like, right? Actually, that's not terrible. I would never use any AI art in anything I was going to sell. But for home games and stuff, if you just need something to sort of set the mood right, I'm not super concerned about that. I'm certainly not going to buy art to just show at a home game or something, right? But anyway, I thought that was actually okay and rather evocative, so I figured we would show it. So that's us heading into the basement. And pretty much as we do, so they go down. And so if you picture, shelves and some lumber down there in stacks and pallets and casks on pallets and crates and broken crates and so on. And yes, I rolled 2 to 8, 5 giant rats. down there. Now, so here's our basement, right? So here you go. Here's our basement. I did add a little, and so this is all dungeon scrawl and its integration with Roll20, which actually is very nice. There's a lot of things I do not like about Roll20, in that it's a little flaky, I would argue. And I did tweak. Hold on, I do have somewhere a bestiary. So I don't know, maybe no. So let me save. I'll show you the rats in a second. It's sort of pointless to do it in every one, but just in case. It's just flaky, like with character sheets and stuff. Like I've lost Rorik's character sheet on here because I have, theoretically, he has a character sheet, except that I guarantee you I cannot get to. If it opens, I bet you it's Martin's. Yeah, administrate, carouse. Like, what is that? How is that a thing? So it's a little annoying, to be honest with you. It's a teeny bit annoying. So I'm gonna leave that done. Okay. I have everybody's character sheet. I don't need character sheets on Roll20. I'd probably rather, I'll just show you the Word doc. And so we'll just roll with that. We'll roll with what Roll20, there you go, gives us. So we head down to the basement. We do notice, the normal rats, but they scatter. And what that leaves crawling out of the various pieces of debris or the various piles of flotsam, and crates and stuff are these large, malevolent rats with red eyes and slavering, slobbery mouths. And so let's take a look at what one of these rats looks like. So this is what I call my compact sort of monster. Now, technically monsters have all the stats that a character has, but man, that would just be awful to deal with, right? So I tried to design a compact monster block like old D&D had, right? Where you didn't have, they have all the stats, and they have, so what we have is an attack and defense, and this should actually look like this because their defense does go down on a second attack. So here you go. Attack is 7, defense is 9, and then 7. They do 2d4 damage, no armor, and the reason there's 4 numbers on armor is it's head, chest, arms, legs, HCal. Head, chest, arms, and legs. They have no armor anywhere. They have 16 hit points, and their wound number is 4. Now they should be wounded every time they're hit, mostly, but they're not quite one-hit creatures. They're not like minions per se. If you've ever played like 4th edition D&D or a game with minions, their move is 5, and if they have to make a saving throw, it's at an 8. Unless it's charisma, power, or wit, they make those saving throws at a 5. So they'd be susceptible to, say, an illusion or some kind of control spell, but, they're wily and dodgy, so if something tried to wrap them up, or if they had to avoid an area of effect attack, they would save at an 8. So that is them. Now, full disclosure, offline to practice, I just threw Rorik and Martin and the rats on a blank sheet of hex paper, threw them at each other. No real thought to using any specific tactics or anything. And boy, the PCs got chewed up a little bit. Like, it was actually a little, I want to say, surprising. I'll tell you why in a minute. It was rough. It was a rough battle. And though the PCs won, it was not a handily won fight. It was actually a little bit, I say, embarrassing for them. And so there's a couple things going on. So one thing you have to realize is in Runebearer, being outnumbered sucks. because your defense degrades over attacks in a round. You know, someone getting Rorik getting attacked by 3 rats, he can be better than the rats. But once the 3rd rat gets to him, or the 4th rat, or whatever, then his defense starts to degrade, and you start taking hits. And Martin is a terrible combatant. Ultimately, he's just not that good. He will be much like his alchemy. I think at the end of the game, or when he matures as a character, is going to be overpowered. That's my guess. It's my wild guess. But right now, it is very much underpowered, even more so than a low-level mage would be, which of course is the analog, right? He's supposed to be like a mage, but I think alchemy is weaker outright than magic early, and I think later it's actually going to be, because of the specific quirks of alchemy, the fact that you can store spells effectively as potions and hand them to your friends, and then they can throw them, is going to become super overpowered. So I'm sort of interested, because this is really the first time that I've done alchemy with these specific rules, in that we make it like spell casting but allow you to save the spell. Pretty much is sort of how we've done it. And to regain your magic as you expend it, you must spend money. That's going to be the issue early with Martin, is they don't got any money. And even that heal that he gave the boy last episode cost him at least $10. At least. That is if he is instantly successful with no additional loss of his levels. It costs him $10 to remake that. And he's only going to make 35 on this mission anyway, at best. Or, well, not at best, but you know what I mean. So anyway, that's sort of where I'm at. But if I did practice this, and I believe the heroes are going to have to use a tiny bit of tactical thought, or else they're not going to actually be able to go on after this. Is my prediction. So it sort of gave me a little bit of a start, and told me, yeah, you need to figure your crap out a little bit, as when you're playing the heroes. And so let's see how that all goes. Like, let's see if we've learned our lesson here a little bit. I'm gonna bring the whole thing. Oop, nope. Okay, no, I'm not. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna bring the whole thing down to. Let's go to 140. Because I want you to be able to see the chat. How's that? And see, this is what I'm talking about. What is this? Where did I get this weird overlay thing? Because that is not okay. That's ruined the map sort of a little bit. And what the hell? Roll 20. Like, where did I get that weird is it on the token layer? It is on the token layer. So can I just move it? If I'm afraid. So there you go. Okay. So there must have been one hidden on the token layer somehow. I don't know. In any case, so I think this is good. Let me test the chat. I bet you can read that. I hope you can read that. If you can't, well, we'll figure it out. So, okay, here we go. And how did I get 6s in my initiative, for crying out loud? Okay, so we're gonna start our fight now, and let's see how it goes. So these guys were going down. I imagine both of them had their weapons drawn, both Martin and Rorik. I think Martin has a potion in his hand. I'm gonna say he's gonna have an acid splash in his left hand, sword in the right. Rorik's going down with his mace in one hand, and since it's lit down here with a few, at least 3 lanterns, let's say, we don't need any light, so he probably doesn't have anything in his offhand. So we're going to roll initiative. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll 7d12 and then read them off in order. Okay. Rurik gets a +2 to his initiative. Martin a +1. The rats are +0s. So here we go. So Rurik is a 6. Martin is a 6. Rat 1 is a 7. Then we have a 1, an 11, a 1, and a 12. And there is our turn order. And so there's going to be 3 rats, and then the party, and then 2 rats. So rat 5, he is first. And rat 5 is going to go 1, 2, 3. That's a half move. Because so his move is 5. And that means his half move is 3. Because it's rounded up. Okay. So so he's going to attack. He is a 7, and Rurik's first defense is an 11. So this is not a huge. So we're down by 4 as the rat. The rat. We're not we, like it's we're buddies or anything. But the rat is down by 4. Let's make a skill roll and see what we get. We get a -6. So so the rat rolls a 12 total. Rurik rolls a 22. So he just actually kicks at the rat. So that's his first parry, by the way. But we're gonna, jazz it up a little bit. He kicks at the rat and keeps him at bay. Rat 3 is gonna move. So rat 3 is like, huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he'll move up. And then rat 1. Ugh. 1, 2. Do I really care? Let me see. I'm sorry. Let me. Do I have something I can use? I just want something to use as a marker. Okay. Yeah. A bed. We'll use a bed as a marker. Sure, that works. And I'm going to give the bed a turn. And we're going to say end of round. End round. Controlled by me. Well, us. All of us. There you go. And I just want to know when the round's over, right? I want to be able to use the initiative as it is. So rat 3 has gone. It's now rat 1. Rat 1 is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to say that rat 1, because he is so small, can just run in between all these little chests and stuff and still attack Martin. Now, because he made a full move, that is a charge move. And he is now charging, which means he's going to take. So how can I put that he's charging? I think I'm going to have to do it in the name. So I'm going to put CHG. He is charged. Now what that means is he gets a -2 to hit and a -2 to defense. So his attack is pretty crappy. His attack is a 5 now against Martin's 9. Martin's not that great, but he rolls terribly. So he rolls an 11 versus Martin gets a 19. So Martin easily swings his sword, right? So he has potion in the left hand. You can't see me, but I'm actually swinging like a madman over here. He's swinging that short sword and sort of keeping the rat at bay. Maybe the rat leaps up onto like this chest or something, and Martin is just swinging and keeping him from leaping and biting at him. It is now Martin's turn. And Martin is going to attack. Now, these rats are better defensively than they are offensively. They are 9s on defense because they are small and wily, right? That's what I sort of figured. So their defense is better. So they're even up. But if you recall, the rat charged. And so now Martin is now 2 up. He's a 9 compared to the rat's 7. So he will swing that short sword now that he's fended it off, and he rolls a -7. So what that means is, if he really didn't roll a -7, what I do want you to remember, if you watched any of the other videos, you're remembering. If not, this is the first time you heard it. The actual mechanic is that Martin would roll and add his d12, which was a 2, and the rat would roll and add his add his d12 to his number. So he rolled a 9. So Martin gets a 9 plus 2 is 11. The rat gets a 7 plus 9 is a 16. Martin did not equal or exceed the rat's number. Martin misses. That's how everything goes in the game. It is an opposed roll, d12 plus your skill or some kind of a difficulty level. So, womp womp. He missed. We're good. Now, one thing I did not do in the test combat, Rorik has a specific special skill called Tactics. Tactics allows Rorik to roll at the beginning of a fight if he remembers to do it and takes a half action. And if he succeeds, he will get a number of rerolls. So, the difficulty for this fight is an 8. Rorik's Tactics is a 9. So let's roll the skill roll. We got a -1. We just succeeded. That gives us 1 reroll. I mean, it sucks, but it's at least it's 1 reroll. That's all. I mean, it's better than nothing. I am going to put this here, a little pie maybe. I don't love that as much as I thought I would. But we're going to call this a Tactics. Yep. There you go. There's our Tactics chip right there. And remember, both Martin and Rorik have 2 inspiration, which also then allows them a reroll. So what happens is Rorik surveys the scene real quick, makes some quick determinations. Maybe he barks an order out to Martin or a suggestion, right? Now, I sort of know what they should do, I think. And I wish I'd have done it before. Oh, God. So I screwed up. All right. I've already screwed up, to be honest with you. But, so Rorik is going to turn there. So both these guys are now in his front arc. And he is going to swing at Rat 1, actually, with his second half action. So Rat 1 now is down to a 7. He's down to a 5 defense, and Rorik has an 11 attack. So, wait, hold on. So because 11 to 5, that's a +6. So Rorik is actually really way up on this rat. So what we're going to do is we are going to, again, maybe try to play with a little bit of tactical acumen here, which I don't usually do. Just so you know. I don't do it. I'm going to strong strike, which means I get a -2 to hit and a -1 to defense. But a +2 to damage. So we're going to sacrifice accuracy for damage. And we're going for a quick hit to maybe quickly disable 1 or more of these rats or make them flee, right? If these rats take a wound or down to half their health, they're not going to sit here and just bash on these guys until dead. They might very well run away. So I'm going to put Rorik has strong struck. So he is minus, all we really need to do is give him a -1 defense. So let's just do this. Let's just do -1 defense. Until, his next till his next round. I know that's clunky to see. I apologize. I don't have really a good way to show all these bits on here. I'll try to think of something. But we do get, and we get a -2 to hit. So we're an 11 versus his 5, because it's the second attack against the rat, which makes him a 7. He charged, makes him a 5. We're going to roll. So we get a +5. So Rorik has a 9, +6 is 15. The rat gets a 6 or something. So we totally hit the rat. And now Rorik is going to be able to do some damage. So Rorik damage right here is a 13 damage to the rat. +2 is 15 damage to the rat in the chest. So yeah, that's if we're playing just with at the table, I'm taking that rat off the board instantly. I will make I will roll the wound for fun. So that is a 15-point hit on the rat. The rat's wound threshold is 4. You add 3 to 7. 7, 10, 13. It's a 4-die wound. So he literally rolls 4d12. The first one is the most significant, because if he rolls a 1 or a 2, all the other dice don't count, and it's a graze, what we call a graze. So we're going to roll 4d12. So he rolls a 2, so it's literally a graze. So we don't count any of these. So what happens is when you roll multiple dice, or any wound, you roll however many dice the wound is, and you pick the one you want as the attacker. You go, oh, you know what? Oh, I want to KO him. You roll one of these as a 12, so it's like rolling with uber advantage, except that if the first die is a 1 or a 2, it's a graze. So 1/6 of all wounds are grazes. And you might go, well, that's sort of disappointing. And you go, yeah, it is disappointing. But boy, I tell you what, when a character gets wailed on for like 20 points from some giant monster, and the GM's like cackling a little bit and going, oh, I get a 3-die wound, do I? And you roll that first one, and the player's like, yes! So it works both ways, of course. So that it's a graze. So he literally, now how is a 15-point wound a graze? I don't know. I have no idea. He probably smacks him off of that chest with that mace, and he slams into something else. Right? I'm going to slide this off to the side. I'll try to slide it back on when... Oh, no, I'll minimize it. Heck with it. Probably slaps him off the side, slams him into, like, this smaller chest, and the thing, like, just stumbles around. But that almost takes him out in one. I will roll on that rat next time it's his turn to see if he's going to probably flee the battle, but we'll see, right? So now we have rat 4 and rat 2. Rat 4 is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll go down there. Rat 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Rat 2 is going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He'll charge also. The rat 2 is going to charge as well. And what that means is his attack is a 5 now instead of a 7. But Rorik is at a -1 defense, and this is the second attack against Rorik. Rorik's already taken 1 attack. So his defense goes, let's take a quick look at Rorik. And I apologize, this is very explainy, I suppose, here. So Rorik's defenses are his parry, which is a 12, -1 for the mace. So his parry, so I'll write his defenses right here. So his defenses, what I call this the defense chain or the defense cascade. It's a parry at 11. Then if he uses his parry again, it's at a -3. So it would be a parry at 8. But it's probably a dodge at 8. And I put a star by that because that's a dodge, meaning he can use it to dodge a missile attack. Then he parries at 8. Because 11 - 3 is 8. And then his base defense is 7, and that's it forever. So his first defense is 11. His second defense, he is dodging at an 8. His third defense is, and actually I would flip these. We don't necessarily need to use our dodge until we need it. So he would try to parry again, but his second parry is slower because he's done it twice. So that's sort of where we're at. And okay, let's do that. Second defense is 8, but the rat is at a 7 because he charged. We get a 1. That means Rorik is going to be hit. The rat has hit him. So this rat is now on Rorik. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move him like almost on Rorik to signify, because the rats have a special ability. How come? Okay. Giant rat has a special ability. The special ability is called Get It Off Me. There we go. Once this creature hits you, it's on you, and subsequent attacks have Pierce 3, which means a 3 in 12 chance to ignore all of your armor until the rat is stunned, dazed, staggered, or grabbed and thrown off. Specifically, right? Thrown off or knocked off or whatever. So rat damage is 2d4. Rat damage is 6. Rorik hits him in the 8. Rorik has 3 defense armor in the 8. So this 6 is reduced by 3 points. He takes 3 points. That's the only problem with putting the rat sort of on him, is that it clutters the board. So he takes 3 points. So first blood. But now all the subsequent attacks the rat does might just go through Rorik's armor and ignore him. And we're at the end of the round. So that was round 1. Oops. I'll just put that right there. Okay. This then becomes round 2, of course. Hello. And rat 5 goes first. So now, Rorik has taken his -1 defense. So he's done with his -1 defense. And these rats have taken all the attacks. He's taken an attack that he got with charge. But he's no longer has charged. I think that guy, though, still takes the charge penalty for a round. He took a charge penalty and got, it impacted him, as it were. I think pretty much until your next attack is what you're taking the penalty for. So rat 5 is up. Rat 5 is going to attack Rorik. Rorik is at an 11 versus... although no, Rorik is still strong. Rorik's strong struck, so he's still at a -1 defense until it's his turn again, effectively. So rat 5 is up. Rat 5 has a 7 attack versus Rorik's 10 defense. It's going to hit him. So rat 5 is on Rorik. And we're going to roll. Let me adjust these macros real quick. Yeah, see, like, rat damage. I want something which shows me the beginning and end of, oops. Will that work? Nope, it just does location, roll d12. Actually, I don't know enough about macros to actually figure out how the hell to... there's got to be a way to do something in line, right? There has to be. and I'm just not good enough at Roll20 to know it, so I'm just going to stick with that. But I do want some delineation. So let's roll the rat damage now. Go and roll rat damage. Bam, rat damage is 6 again in the foot, and he's not piercing because he's not on him. But now he is on Rorik, and he has done 6 in the foot. Rorik has, I think, 3 defense boots. His armor value is 2. He only has leather boots, so he takes 4 more. This can add up all of a sudden. Rorik's getting chewed on a bit. Rat 3. Oh, he's going to attack Rorik or Martin. And that's a charge attack. So we'll put a charge marker on him. And he's going to charge. Let's see. Can I put an above now? Nope, that doesn't work. No, that doesn't work either. That damn nameplate. I can't get the nameplate. I can't move the nameplate. That's too bad. But what I am going to put top overlapping done. I will do that for this rat too because they are. There we go. So he's going to attack. He's going to attack our guy Martin. He charged. He gets a -2. His attack is a 5 now. He's going to totally miss. And so that is his thing. You have to excuse me. This is going to take a little longer as I futz even more with the stuff. You'd think I would have learned when I did the test combat, but I have not learned. I'm going to say anything but double digits and this rat runs. So he's going to run. He has seen Rat Jesus. So he takes off for the hills and he's going to be gone pretty much. So I'm going to take him off the board. There's no point in keeping him around. Now, I don't like it. This is sort of the situation where I ended up in the test fight where the party got surrounded, and I should have maneuvered a little bit better there. I should really almost take Rorik should have his back up against the wall, and that would be a better way to fight at the moment, and sort of almost create a pocket where the rat has to come in between him and Martin. As it stands, I don't love where this is going. So that's fine. We'll manage. So I think what we are going to do is we are going to have Martin. And again, I really, really, really wish Martin had a little bit more access to something to help Rorik out. As it stands, I think we're just going to attack this charging rat. We'll maintain our same face, and we're going to attack the rat that is charging us right now. But yeah, I'm just going to hit this guy. So let's just hit him. We'll swing our sword. Our skill is a 9 versus his defense, which is going to be it's a 9 -2 because he charged 7. -5. And because he rolled a 1, he gets the infamous gear check. So if you roll a 1 or your opponent rolls a 12, you get a gear check. Gear check is just a very abstract way of saying that your gear is slightly degraded. And if you get a couple of them, the GM can make you make a check that something has broken or not broken. I think we're just going to sit on that, and Martin is done. Rorik is going to turn to face. He'll put his back. I don't like this exactly, since he's giving up his flank to this rat 4 here. And he's got 2 rats on him. But having said that, I think he's going to do... I think he's going to do what he did last time. He is going to strong strike this rat here. Because... Or he could invoke his talent. So let's just do that instead for fun. Let's figure that out. So we have Fight with Wild Abandon, which is sort of a special ability. And Rurik got that for fighting with Jaeger's daggers. They sort of train, they're almost semi-berserkers in a weird way. At any point in the battle, you can activate this talent, take a -2 to your defenses, but get +2 damage and +1 armor for the duration of the fight. Now, is this a great time to do this? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. We could take a lot of damage all of a sudden when the 2 rats hit us. And this lasts for the remainder of the battle. So... But if we can get rid of another rat, that's going to make life a little easier. So we will fight with Wild Abandon. So he has -2 to his defenses now. And +2 his armor, and so on. So Rorik's got a lot of bits on him right now. He's going to swing at rat 3. I do not like how this all ends up looking, to be quite honest with you. I do not like it, Sam. I am. I need some better system of being able to put like chips on them or near them or something, which, you know, indicate what's going on. They have those little markers, but the markers are too, they get lost super quick in the heat of battle here. So for now, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do Rurik is Fight with Wild Abandon, FWA. We know what that means. So Rurik's going to take a shot. Remember that this rat charged his last attack. He charged this round, actually. He charged this round. And so... he has a -2 defense. His defense is a 9. It is a 7. We are a 11. Plus, this is a second attack, so his defense is actually even lower than that, and we are absolutely going to hit. So Rorik's damage roll. You know what? Let me fix that macro. And instead of doing all those, I'll do this and this. Rurik damage is 11, +2 is 13. He hits him in the 10, which is like the leg, effectively. So he does 13 points, knocking him down to 3. And if you recall, it's 4, 7, 10, 13. It's a 4-die wound in the leg. You know. Not a graze this time, and he's going to get a 12. So he's going to pick which one he wants. You almost always want a 12. If you see one, you want one. Because in the legs, he disables the leg. So he crushes like the back leg or something maybe of this thing. Disables it so it can't really move anymore. And it takes shock 3. And what shock 3 means is you roll a d6 for each shock, and he takes 13 more damage. And so that rat is just, he's out. He is done. And that's definitely what Rourke wanted to do. He wanted to knock that guy out of the park here. So he slams him into that wall, and he is done. Rat 4 is going to go, and I think because Rourke exposed his flank, this rat just walks right up, and he's going to take the flank. What does that mean, he exposed his flank? So the rule is, so we're going to put Rourke up here to show the rule. The rule is, when you face like this, everything in the front half of you is not in your flank. Anything in the rear half of you is in your flank. If someone starts in your flank, so when Rourke turned, this rat now had, right? This rat starts in his rear 180, and he ends in the rear 180. That means he is flanking Rourke. He gets a +2 to hit. Rourke already has a -2 to his defenses. And he's already taken an attack, I believe, this round. So Rourke's defense is like his base, 7. And so the rat moves up and he attacks with his attack versus Rourke's, but he's going to miss with a -7. And that is that for, and now rat 2 goes. Rat 2 is no longer charging because that ends his charge move. He's going to attack at a plain old 7. Versus Rourke's 7, so he barely misses because Rourke's at his base defense now. Like his defense cannot get any worse than this. Although I shouldn't say that, right? Because his base defense is now minus, so he can get worse than that. His base defense is now a 5. So yeah, so I'm gonna say, so that rat does hit him because there has to be, the rat does 6 in the 11, so he takes 4 more. That's not a pierce. A pierce would be a 3, 2, or 1. He takes 4 more, so a little dicey for Rourke there. Rourke is tanking the damage. None of it's a wound, which is nice. And that brings us to round 3, and you have to excuse the speed at which I'm going, trying to explain things, and work roll 20, and it's not all very smooth yet. Hopefully we'll get there. And we don't have any rat, 1 anymore. He is gone, so we're going to delete him. So it's just rat 5 now. Rat 5 is going to go. He takes a swipe at Martin. He misses Martin. Or no, I'm sorry. He takes a swipe at Rourke, and he misses Rourke. And now Rourke gets to face because someone attacked him. Actually, he could face as soon as rat 4's attack is completed, and he gets the flank bonus. So now Rourke turns. So if you're attacked, you can turn once the guy calculates his bonus. And when you move, you can always turn. So Rourke turns. He takes his first attack. Done. Martin is up. So I think Martin is going to step over here. I mean, his buddy's getting chewed on a little bit, so I think he does want to, be a little bit considerate of poor Rourke. So I think Martin is going. So here's what we're gonna do. we are going to throw at rat 4. I'm going to throw the potion at rat 4. We have actually Martin's throwing is way better. It's 2 better. It's like an 11. So this guy has a 9 to our 11. We're going to get a -5. I'm using the tactics chip, so we're going to burn the tactics chip for a reroll. Even worse, and we get a gear check. So that's going to fly wide. Nope, I don't know what I just did. So that's going to fly. And so there's a couple things we have to, so I got to figure out where it ends up. And you know what? And unfortunately, so I was like, oh, I should roll to see where it ends up. But I should follow the rules. So the rules are, since he threw into a melee, he rolls a 1 or a 2. He actually hits an ally. That's my trying to discourage throwing into melee. So I shouldn't have thrown, is really what he's saying. So he rolls a 1, so he's going to hit him, because I was like, oh, I'll do 1, 2, 3. No, okay. Well, no, it hits Rorik, because so he's going to hit him. And he's going to hit him in the, again, it's going to be super annoying. He hits him in the 4, so that's an arm. Oh my god, that is literally the worst possible place to hit your poor guy. I don't think he has any armor in his arm. He has bare arms. So that means it's going to do 2d4 damage and 2d4 damage next time. It does 5 damage to Rorik. Jesus. Rorik is like, what are you doing? As his arm sizzles. Oh my lord. I'm sorry. Okay. Rorik is going to attack the rat over here. Rat 2 takes a swipe. He has an 11. He's going to hit the rat. He's going to do some damage to the rat. He rolls 10, but that is actually 11, 12 damage in the 9. So 12 in the chest. It's going to be a 3-die wound. A 2, so that's actually a graze. But it is 12 damage. Rorik's luck has been pretty low here. Rorik's pretty low luck. The rat's going to attack Rorik there. -4 is not going to hit him. Even at a second attack, let's see, what is the second attack? 8, 6. The rat's attack's only 7, so that's a miss. And rat 2, I think, has to roll to stick around, having taken quite a bit of damage, and he's not going to stick around, and he takes off, and he's going to leave. And that ends round 3. Because it's round 3, our heroes do have to roll fatigue. Let's roll 2d12. We'll do Martin and then Rorik. Neither fatigue. Martin rolls a 6, Rorik rolls. You have to roll your fatigue number or less, and you fatigue. If you roll a 12, you get to give me all your fatigue, and then you take back an inspiration, which no one has spent yet. Rat 5 is up. We'll do maybe one more round here, I think. I don't know that the rats are going to hold up. But let's see for sure here. Rat 1 has a 7 versus Rorik's 9. He misses. Martin's going to go. He's going to step out 1-2. I'm really sorry, man. I'm sorry. Jesus, oh God. All right, and his arm is burning. So he burns his buddy. 3 more points. And then the potion wears off. Martin will step up and attack with his sword on Rat 5. And he's going to hit Rat 5. Let's fix Martin's damage, a macro to put some dashes on it. Martin rolls 8 points on our guy. That's a 2-die wound in the head. So let's roll 2d12. An 11 and a 1. So this one doesn't count against us. It's only the first die. That's why we do them in order. Let's look at what a head wound is on an 11. On the head, we stun him, bleed him, impair him, and shock him 3. Head wounds are no freaking joke. So we're going to knock this rat to the ground. He is no longer on Rorik. We stun him, bleed him, attack. Stun is sure. I'll do bleed and impair him. For stun, we will put a marker on him because stun only lasts, it's temporal. It lasts a round, right? So we'll put the interdiction there. So first off, we did 8 points. So we take half his health. We stun him, which we marked. We bled and impaired him. So the rat's now -1 to do everything, and he's going to take damage every round until he bleeds out or it coagulates. But more importantly, I think we did shock 3 because it's a head wound. Yeah. Shock 3. So the rat then takes 3d6. Done. The rat's he smacks the rat off and KOs him. Rorik will attack the last rat just because he's going to hit him, I believe, even at a -2, because we're 11 to his 9. Done. That's a hit. Rorik does his damage. He's going to do 17 points. Just he's so pissed off about this arm, which is blistered and everything. And he smashes the rat, and that ends our fight. So, I wish you could see my face. Rorik looks over, sort of taps, giving a little tap. What do you got to say about this? And he holds his arm out, and it's all blistered and red, and maybe a little swollen. So let's go over the quick healing procedure here. So healing after the battle. Once the battle is over, PCs will get a chance to heal and inspect their wounds. Okay, so first thing you can do is shake it off after you group your damage into major and minor damage. So minor damage, so all the damage is minor damage. Rorik did not take a wound. A wound is damage that does a wound. So either a quarter of your hit points in one fell swoop, which is pretty impossible for Rorik to take with these guys, or if they roll a 12 to hit, then any damage they do is automatically a wound, no matter how much it does. So the first thing Rorik can do is shake it off. And what shake it off means is that you get to roll your toughness die. So Rorik's toughness is a 14. That means his toughness die is a D8, I believe. So Rorik rolls 1d8 and just erases that much damage. So he shakes off 4. So he's back to 25. So the second thing is, and maybe they back up into the hallway, right? Martin will make a roll on Rourke, so he's going to make a skill roll on medical. -3 is not great because our medical isn't great. Martin's medical is only a 9. He is not super good at just the first aid stuff. And I think the base DL is 10 on medical. And so we're not going to heal him any damage. We can give him a heal, which I think we will give him a potion, which sucks because, again, that's another one of these. But I think we give him the potion, and that's 1d4 plus 1. And he gets 4 more back. So he's now up to 29. If we had herbs, we could give him herbal remedies. If we wanted to do physician, we could do physician. And we'll give him what is called, what do you want to call it? It is superficial treatment. Roll versus DL10. So we'll make another skill roll. And we do succeed on that one. And that's another D4. And he gets another point, which sort of sucks, but he gets another single point. But at this point, that's pretty much all we can do. We don't have any herbs. We do not have any spells. We can't do long-term care yet because long-term care is over a number of days physician. We're done. And so we have exhausted all we have. We've done alchemy already, right? So we've exhausted all the healing we have. The rest of this becomes long-term injury. Not long-term, it just means he heals a point a day. So I'm going to put that somewhere, that Rurik injury 10 points of long-term injury. So 10 days, pretty much. So he's actually at 30 of 40. Excuse me. And so literally it would take him 10 days to heal them. Unless we do long-term physician, which we could. Once we get him up to a bed, we can actually sort of roll physician again, and that will give him points over the course of a week. So we can speed his healing, but we cannot actually do any more acute right now healing. So I think we're going to call it there. That is our second session. This was Basement Dweller, session 2. We did a fight, took about an hour. That's about what we expected from our tests. Wasn't too bad. This one went actually better than the other one did because they at least supported each other a little bit better than I did in my test combat. They could have positioned themselves better, I think. And in doing so, maybe, So one thing to consider, right? There's 2 of these guys. Even if they do perfectly, they can only take out 2 rats a round. That's at least 3 rounds. You're going to take 3 rounds. Martin is unlikely to take anything out by himself really quickly. And so you're talking a 4-ish round, 5-ish round battle, which is what this ended up being. I think Roar could have taken a little less damage. That was a little bit of luck. It wasn't terrible. And he certainly isn't in a position where he is not able to continue. Like, he doesn't have 12 hit points left or something, which you would say, oh my God, that's awful. No, he has 30 hit points. I think he's okay to continue. And that's sort of how Runebearer goes. You don't get that many more hit points in your career. And, a lot of it comes down to what can I heal? And Merton's going to be great at this in the future. But right now, and I did not give him any herbs to start the game with, and he is an herbalist. So that is sort of my fault. I'm going to say that he used them all getting here, blah, blah, blah. And we can do some gathering herbs, as we go along the way. But right now he has no herbs because he could heal another D4 in addition before before having Rorik say, well, that's long-term injury. So we mark off once the battle ends, you mark off all those healings on that group of wounds, and then you erase everything that you erase, and you write down, okay, I now have 10 long-term points that I need to heal a day at a time. And if those are wound points, then you keep the injury, you keep the impairments or windedness, or crippled, like all the long-term effects you keep until that wound is healed. And so that's sort of how we determine, like if he took an impairment because his arm got broken, that's how we determine how long his arm is broken for, is how many points are left in that injury. And it is stilted a little bit. In larger groups, you usually have all the categories covered. And so it's stilted that I can do a bunch of hit points and have them healed back, and do a bunch of hit points and have them mostly healed back, and so on. But there is this degradation effect over time, as you can see with Rorik. He certainly didn't get back to 40 of 40. So, I think we're going to call it there. And the next session will probably go sometime over the weekend, we will do. And I hope you enjoyed that. I did. I thought it went pretty well. And it was sort of a fun, and I think it was a okay example of how combat is in the game. So tell me what you think, and please like or subscribe or write, and check, I have links in the description for Runebearer. I have links in the description to my Ko-fi page, and that's it. I hope to see you later. Have a good one.